thing around. I think orientation is locked. Device is back. Rotate device back. Okay. All right. Anyway, so this is gonna be our weekly update on this. I'm not gonna have no time today. I am trying to move this. What do you call it? This oversized load. We got another oversize on us that is going to Wisconsin, just on the border of Iowa. So this week we've ran 3 of these loads so far, and I'm loving them, man. I love them. They're really easy, you know. As you can see, they're like barely oversized. There's what, 5 inches on each side maybe. So I'm registering them with like a foot, maybe just slightly a foot over, you know. So I think one of them I registered for 9.8, but it wasn't really 9.8. I just wanted to be safe, you know. But anyway, this is what we did. This week we did 3 of these. They're all coming from Omaha area, Fremont, Nebraska, to be specific. So I'm loving them, man. We finally found us a stinking broker that has a solid freight. The rates, I would say, kind of like average, you know. They're not like great, but it's good enough to keep us rolling, you know. Oh, hey, we got one person in there. So anyway, let's talk about some numbers, right, real quick. So this week we went from Fremont, Nebraska, all the way to Denver, dropped that off to Denver, and then back to Fremont, Nebraska, deadhead all the way to Fremont, Nebraska. That's like 500 something miles, 530, 550, 540 or something like that. And then we pick up another oversize from there, took it to, oh, look at that, we got 4 people. What's going on, man? Anyway, we got another oversize from there. We took it up to Minneapolis area, and then from there we picked up a small partial and took it to Brookings, South Dakota. From Brookings, South Dakota, deadhead back to Fremont, Nebraska, and then we went and and now we're here on this load, on this oversized load. Hey, just to give you guys an update, just in case you didn't catch it earlier, we're still doing oversized. Take a look at that. So this is our third this week with these same company, okay? Anyway, so this week we're gonna have a total of like 6,900 miles, or no. So we're gonna have a total of 2,365 miles, and we gross a total of 5,900, and after permits we're at 6,755 on the gross. So when you divide 2,365 into 6,755, you're looking at $2.85 a mile on all miles, even though we ran a lot of deadhead, man. That 2,365 miles, there's probably about 40% of deadhead in there. Now that's good. Those are some good numbers, man. So anyway, so we did 285 on all miles, and that turns out to be about 340-ish, 350-ish on the fuel. And when you multiply that, I think we're averaging about 315 in this area. That's like, that's about $1,093 in fuel we used. And that's only 16% of the gross, man. Woo-hoo! Man, I tell you, I'm really excited about what will happen. Now I'm blocking that. Okay, now I'm talking to this broker, right? And he's saying that they're busy right now. So I don't know how long this will last, but we're gonna stay in this area as long as it lasts. You know what I mean? Because there's really not much going on, you know, just everywhere, you know. Everywhere is pretty much dead. So also, the permit service has been giving me a lot of hard time, man. I'm not even using a permit service. I'm doing everything online, okay? I'm doing everything my own, you know, and it's getting easier and easier. It's like another tool, you know. It's just a matter of getting used to it, you know what I mean? It's getting familiar with things, navigating the website or whatever, right? Because every individual state is a little different, and the way it's not really like, what you see is what you get when it comes to their website, like the state websites, like specifically Nebraska, their website in picking up a route and analyzing a route for an oversize it's so stinking, glitchy. So, but we're working through it. We're working through it. Anyway, that's the update, man. That's if you guys coming in a little late, I think we got 10 people in here. But anyway, if you're coming in a little late on the video, I'm just trying to get this done, give you guys an update, see where we are, how we doing. You know what I mean? This week has been amazing. There's no words that can be said, man. Even though we had to deadhead a lot, it's been amazing, man. We're rolling. We're just locally in the area. So when we drop this off, which is, I don't know if you guys saw it. Some of you that didn't see it, it's still another oversize. So when we drop this off, we're gonna be right there on the border of Wisconsin and Iowa. Man, I'm shaking. I guess I had too much coffee this morning. Anyway, wow. I need to get me like a stand for this thing. Dang, I'm shaking. Anyway, so we're gonna drop this off in the border of Wisconsin and Iowa. And from there, we're gonna try to pick us a load, like a partial load coming out of the Davenport probably, and then going to Omaha area. And then we're gonna try to pick up another one of these oversized load for Tuesday. And then we're just gonna try to rinse and repeat the same way, man. That's, I think that's the only way to survive in this freaking thing, you know what I mean? Like if we can find good rates and then head back to that good rate, why not, right? So the first load that we did last week, oversized, that one paid over $4.70 a mile. And the next oversized that we did going to St. Paul from Fremont, Nebraska, that one paid over $5.40 a mile. And then that short run that we did, that like just a partial, it was only like 16 foot long, went to Brookings, South Dakota, just so I didn't have to deadhead too many miles, Actually, that add up quite a bit, but that one only paid like $3.10 a mile or something like that. It's really, really short. It was in and out, And then we deadhead back to Fremont, Nebraska, and now we're on this one. This one is paying $4.60, maybe $4.40 a mile. Yeah, not as much as the first two, but you know what? Hey, it's gonna keep us in a good area, and we're gonna keep rolling, and we're gonna try to come back to the same place where we picked up these ones, and then try to pick up another oversize, man. It's getting easier, right? With permit service. Yeah, I would have to agree, man. I would have to agree. Midwest has the best freight, man. Even like when we were in Texas last week or the week before, was it last week? Anyway, yeah, the week before, I was looking at the Midwest. I was like, man, the short runs over there are going to be a lot way better than Texas, So that's why we're here, man. We're staying here. We're going to try to stay in this area and just hang on, man. I saw that, what was that? There was one thing I wanted to talk about, like the port strike, right? What do y'all think about that port strike, man? I see a lot of truckers are now talking about trucker strike. I'll be down to it. But the fact of the matter is, really is the industry is just so big that you may get like 5 or 10% that would shut down. But still, you know what I mean? Like things will still just keep moving, How much will that affect the industry really? I don't think it's much, I think if we can somehow coordinate, across the board, I'm down to it, I'm sure a lot of you guys will be, like 1 week of shutting down is not really going to hurt you, you know what I mean? At least I don't think it will. Just visit family members, But yeah, I thought that port strike was really interesting. I thought it was going to last longer. I'm glad it didn't really, because that would have hurt the trucking industry quite a bit more. You know what I mean? It would affect the trucking industry directly right away. If it lasted a few more days or whatever. So I'm just glad it didn't. So they worked out a deal, and it worked out for them, you know. So good for them. So, um, man, it's going, man. It's a lot better now this week. How do I see the comments? Let me see. How do I see the comments on this thing? I got it oriented in a different manner. I should have had it oriented like, you know, up and down or vertical way. How do you? Okay, it's not it. I I don't know how to. The comments are disappearing, man. So anyway, I saw that comment. How's it going, man? It's going good. It's going good. We're in the Midwest. It's amazing, man. Um, a lot better than the past couple weeks, that's for sure. Way better. So I'm glad that we're in this area, and we're gonna stay. We're gonna try to stay around this area, and you know, just try to hang on by a, by a thread. You know what I mean? I took my ass home. I was out for 3.5 weeks, and I beat them over and headed 2 weeks in a row for shit last week. Real rough. Yes, it's real rough out here, man. I'm not even gonna lie. It's just the load board is just junk, man. I'm glad I found this guy. I live in Pittsburgh. I usually just run out of these steel mills. Yeah, you know. Speaking of that, the steel mills, right? When I had a flatbed, um, I was in that area, man. The Pittsburgh area, the Ohio line, Pennsylvania area, you know, making good money in that area, you know. But for some reason, this time around, I guess if you don't, maybe you have direct customers, but if you're working off the load board anywhere this time around, man, I think it's going to be rough because I'm always watching around, you know what I mean? Looking at what areas are good. And let me tell you, it's just all across the board, the area is bad, you know. It's just, it's amazing, man. I don't know. I think, me personally, I think it spans from what you call it? It spans from. Thank you, man. Yeah, we're trying to make good money, man. Hopefully, you can keep up with it. But I think it comes from too many doggone brokers, man. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Drive van trailer to rent. Just started my MC. Any advice, man? You know, just to stay positive, man. I say just call all the leads, man. If you're looking for that for an advice, I'd say call all leads. I know you can't sign up for Amazon right now because you just started your authority. I would say, you know what? Oh man, I wish you asked me before that. You know, I would not suggest anybody starting their own authority right now. It's just because like the upfront cost of starting your own authority is just so much, right? It takes you right nowadays. It'll probably take you about 8 months to recover from all that upfront cost. You know, I'm leading to a carrier, and I have agent out of Youngstown. We have, there you go, and really that's the way to do it. But anyway, let me finish my thought process there. I think it's gonna be rough for you, man. If you just started your own authority, you got your drive van, man. I would say maybe stay around the Chicago area and do like, you know, short runs. You know what I mean? Like, even if you can do like, I don't know if you can market wise, but if you can like probably be around the $700-800 a day area, you know what I mean? I think that's okay. Stick with it until 6 months, a year. Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, you already started it, so I would say try to, you know, stick with it, and just trying to navigate your way around it. Live on that load board, man. Live on that load board because it's gonna be rough for you. I know there's gonna be a lot of. Is it good to sign up with Amazon? I would say it's always good time to sign up with Amazon, man. Always. It doesn't matter. You don't have to take their freight. You know what I mean? They're not forcing you to take those freaking cheap rates. Just make sure that you're signed up. When that time comes, you will know what I'm talking about. That you're gonna be like, you know, you're gonna be real happy. Like I will drop my step deck. As a matter of fact, if you if you guys been watching the channel, you know I've dropped off my step deck. You know, a freaking TA and just paid for the reserve parking, and then went in. Did Amazon on your own authority, bro? You can still reach out to people. Yeah, I agree for sure. Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm in the middle on that, man. I think, okay, let me start off with if step deck or 48 foot flat. I would say if you can do 53 flat, I would go 53 flat. The reason why is because you can get out of a, you know, sticky situations with a flat, with a 53. You know what I mean? And you can also get good rates with like 60-foot long beams, you know, so things like that, you know. But I would say a 53 flat is the very minimum. I would say step deck, but you would have to go brand new. The reason why I say that, because I see these guys all the time, man. They are abusing these freaking trailers. You know, there was one, as a matter of fact, that owner operator I was telling you guys about, that talking about he had 30 years. He was saying he was destroying that trailer, man. I was like, I was feeling it. You know what I mean? I was right there with that trailer. That I'm talking about, okay. When, see, this trailer, the step deck I have, right? It has in 10 foot, the limit on this step deck is in 10 foot is 60,000 pounds in 10 foot, okay? But that doesn't mean you should freaking push it to 60,000 pounds at 10 foot, you know? Now, the reason why I say go brand new with a step deck, because especially on a 53, and if you're gonna load up equipment, it's right here, this part right here. This is gonna be, I see the 53 Transcraft all the time, man. They are bent right here in this area right here, because people are loading those freaking day cabs and, you know, freaking heavy equipment right here, and they will just slam it, you know what I mean, just let it drop. What you want to do is you want to go in there and ease it in there, right? Ease it in there, put one tire in there, just and then let the air catch up, because when you put pressure in there, that air will go down and then it's going to eventually catch up, okay? You want that air to just catch up in there, just slowly. Don't let it slam in there, because that's putting a lot of pressure on this end right here. I've seen a lot of Transcraft. I guess maybe it's just the trailer type, you know, that have a lot of bend right here in this back part right here, and you can literally see it physically, you know. So that's why I would say go with, if you're gonna go with a step deck, go brand new. It's my suggestion, because like, think about it. If you're looking at a $40,000 step deck, you're probably looking at maybe a 2018, because step decks, they hold their value. They really do, especially a 53, you know. A 53 with a sliding axle, you know, they hold their value a lot. So not necessarily the low pros, you know, but you want, me, I just wanted across the board. I just wanted to cover everything across the board. That's why I went with a low pro and also some ramps, you know. I wanted to be able to be more independent, pick up things like, you know, cash on delivery, or, you know what I mean, collect on delivery type deals, you know. So that's why I went with that. So hopefully that answers your question. Like, if you, me, in this time around, unless you have something dedicated, like you're in the area like Pittsburgh area, or maybe somewhere where there's a lot of steel, you want to be, what you might call it, you want to have those dedicated accounts with steel mills and things like that, and then you can go 48, you know, it's okay, as long as it, you know, it's freight specific. But if you're gonna go OTR, I say go 53. Oh, what am I hauling? Here you go. It's walls. It's like fabricated walls, man. They're literally building houses where we pick up, and then they just put up the wall and then put it together. That's it. You know, hammer it together or whatever they do with it. You know, screw it together. It's like Legos, man. They're just building them. So that's what it is. Like, I've hauled this 3 times now this week. So this is the 3rd one, okay? Dedicated account with steel mill, Pittsburgh. Right now, there you go. I know a lot of steel mills won't load step decks. There's an honest Pittsburgh, low pro trailers. Oh yeah, I agree. That the thing about the low pro is that you're not gonna be able to cover like what you just said, man. There's a lot of places where you're not gonna be able to cover. Where you at in Berg? I don't know what that is, man. I'm trying to read y'all's comment, man, as fast as I can. But like I said, if you came in a little late on the live, man, I know it's gonna replay again, but let me just do a recap real quick, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. So Highland Park Bridge. Oh, maybe you guys are talking to each other. Anyway, so this week we had what do you call it? We grossed 6,900, and after permits is 6,755, and miles is 2,365. All miles we did 285, and about 350ish on the gallons used, and you know, that's 1,093 when you multiply it by 315 a gallon, and that's 16% of the gross, man. It's amazing numbers, man. Those some of the numbers I want to achieve. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys saw last week's update on the video, you know, you'll know I was talking about, like, just a couple more grand on that gross, man. You know, I'll be really happy with that. But here we are. That's what we achieved this week. You know, a little bit more than what I was asking for, but it's better. You know what I mean? So 285 on all miles, man, and we're still gonna be in this area, so that's a really good deal, man. So anyway, I think we're gonna end. Send in a couple more questions if you have any more questions. Just that I'm gonna try to do this live thing. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to, you know, execute. You know, I just realized I watch a couple of videos. I say a lot of, you know what I mean. I don't know why I say that, but I do. You know what I mean? Yeah, you had in trouble factoring. Okay, factoring. No, man, I'm using OTR solutions. You know why I'm using OTR? In my first year, I was like, you know what, I'm never gonna use a factoring. But I found out really hard, in a hard way, that factoring is very important, man, because every broker has a different process in invoicing them and processing an invoice, and then you got to follow up on that, and then you got to sign up to their website and all of these other things, man. I'm telling you, if you're just doing one invoice, like you're just single owner operator or whatever, and you don't have anybody dedicated to process your invoice, you know, you would know that. You know what I mean? Me, I haven't gone that far, but you would know that when that time comes. But if you're just like me, single, just one owner, one person wearing all the hats, man, it's better to relieve all of that stress to a factoring company. I'm paying 3% to a factoring company, okay? And I'm really happy with it because they do all of that work, you know, and I don't have to deal with any of that. So anyway, my first year, yeah, that's all I was doing was freaking processing invoice, doing this, following up on things, you know. It's not worth it, really. You know, that 3%, you know, you're better off putting that time back onto the load board and trying to hustle for a little bit higher, you know what I mean, higher rates or whatever. That's it. You know, I think that's, for me, I think that's a better route, you know. So, good question. That's a good question. Yeah, factoring, you know, a lot of people would you know, would tell you not to go that route, but I think factoring is a good thing. You know, it depends on, you know, how much load you have under your belt, I guess. You know, if you're just one person running the whole authority or whatever, doing all of these other things, keeping up with things, you know, specifically being on the load board, I think factoring. Now, hold on. Let me put a caveat into that, okay? So if you have like a customer, right? If you have somebody who already you could set up with, and then you can slowly alleviate some of those factored loads, you know. I assume you're Vietnamese. There's a lot of YouTubers I see. Dang it. How do I retrieve these freaking chats? I didn't read that whole thing. I think, let me see. If I go this way, now it wasn't allowing me. No, I am not Vietnamese. I'm Filipino. So the chat is disappearing a lot faster, guys. Oh, chat viewing options, top chat, all live chat. Oh, here we go. Here we go. How useful would a 53 step deck Conestoga be in general? I have no idea what to tell you there, man. That's not something I have a lot of experience on. I don't really search or look for Conestoga step decks, but I can tell you that I spoke to a couple of Conestoga runners, and they say they do really well. Now, I don't know how true that is. You know what I mean? You got to talk about, um, you got to think that a lot of truckers, for some reason, they just have the 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 reason to lie for some reason, even though they don't know you from Adam or whatever. Just sometimes they just lie. Why? I have no idea. What they benefit out of it, I have no idea. Okay, let me read some. I think I figured out how to read this chat, man. You gotta bear with me. Okay, here we go. Nah, that's okay, man. No worries, no worries. Most people don't have 30 to 90 days to wait. Factoring comes in clutch. Definitely does, man. How useful? Okay, that we read that already. Okay. Also, here's another question. I assume you're Vietnamese. Oh, sorry. It makes sense. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Not bad in today's climate. That's for sure, man. You guys know, as it was last week or the past couple weeks, it's been like that, man. Let me ask you this: have you had any trouble in factoring in? Okay, no. I think we already answered that, right? Okay. Okay, yes, a good question. Pinoy does have a special meaning, and it actually means it's a slang for Filipino. It means Filipino. Okay, my name is Ed. You call me Ed, and I know it's not a Filipino name, but yeah. In my opinion, Conestogas are cool, but they really limit your options. Yes, I could definitely see that, specifically on this load that we have right now. You would not be able to run these on a Conestoga. And I think what Conestoga does really well is those like special contracts or special haul, usually military hauls, that, they don't want things, the public seeing, or like a jet engine or something like that, something sensitive, right? Uh, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just out here, we grinding it out, man. Okay, RTS like 2.5%. You know why I like OTR Solutions? Because OTR Solutions is on DAT, right? And they're partnered with DAT, and DAT, um, excuse me. So they have recheck a lot of these brokers. I mean, I'm sure RTS does too, okay? But with OTR Solutions, okay, they will make sure that there will be zero recourse on you. I know there's no such thing as 100% no recourse, okay? But they will make sure that all of those customers, like even like new customers, they vet them properly. So they do all of that for you. You know what I mean? That's why I like OTR Solutions. But I don't know how how RTS factoring goes. But that's the only experience I have with factoring is OTR Solutions. Okay. There you go. Aircraft engines. Yeah. Uh, are rates for oversized staying more stable versus general freight prices and pushed down because of lack of drivers' ability to advance and being able to pull that freight? I would assume that, but I would say I'd say yes and no. I'd say there are some very, very like this one right here, right? I've spoke to a couple of guys already. They said, "Ah, man, you ain't even got a freaking permit." That it's crazy, man. I'm not gonna tell on them. Hey, if you can do it. See, that's the thing. I think that's what's gonna drive down, your rates as far as in general, you know what I mean, is that they see these rates and be like, oh, you know what, I don't want to spend an extra $90 to go get my permits. And at the same time, if you're gonna use a permit service in 3 states, that's 45 times 3. Let's say JJ Keller, that's how much they charge per state, is $45, you know. But this time we're only working with Nebraska, right, and Iowa and Wisconsin and Minnesota. It's really easy, believe it or not. Just go to the website, sign up for their website, and then you get to, you know what I mean, you'll get used to going around and just familiar yourself with their website. You know, it's really easy. They actually have their own routing system on there. Once you figure it out, it's so easy, man, and it'll just route you to that area where there's no restriction for whatever you're pulling, you know what I mean, how wide it is or how tall it is or whatever. Of course, you still got to pay attention to the road, right? You gotta pay attention, make sure you're not hitting anything, and you got to make sure you know how tall you are, how wide you are, right? Okay. Do they charge you 10% on every bill? No, they don't. They don't charge 10%. OTR Solutions only charge 3%. So of $100 is $3. Of $1,000 is $30. In my opinion, I haven't ran over sites in over a year and a half. It just wasn't worth it. That shit needs to pay $5 no matter what miles. Okay. You know, man, I would agree with that 100%. But at the same time, man, it's just like where we are right now in the trucking industry, you know, like I could probably just sit around, right, and wait for a good rate, you know, but at the same time, we still got bills to pay. You know what I mean? Things just keeps, you know, rolling. You know, the freaking insurance is not gonna stop collecting. You know what I mean? Just because we weren't pulling, you know, that's my bills at the house not gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just those kind of things that we gotta factor in. I think we're still making really, really good money, man. If we can run, so let's look at it this way, compared to what we have going on this week, right? If we are able to run 2,300 miles every week, the way we ran, I don't care if it's oversized and how much, like this oversized, like I said, these oversized are really not that hard, man. You know, I mean, it's a foot, you know what I mean? It's 9.6. We're registering for 9.6, but you know, I put it in the system for 9.8 just in case we get inspected, right? But they're not hard at all. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get to the 12, that's when they get a little bit more finicky, you know, and the system is gonna start rerouting you to different areas because you're 12, you know. But anything under 12, man, really, from my experience, you know, most constructions, they're gonna allow you, you know, to go through there. There's actually one construction in Nebraska on the I-80 that's gonna reroute you if you're over 10. So, but there will be signs that you will see the signs and it'll tell you. And if you're doing just like one single permit, you know, one trip permit run, it's gonna give you the route and it's gonna route you to the proper area where you're not gonna be in a restricted zone, you know. Okay, let's see. You're not wrong, bro, at all. Just the way my brain works, I just justify my labor time. Man, I wish that I wish I can just, I wish I can, you know, maintain my mind frame in that same area, you know, really. I think most people would, you know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, I think where we are right now in trucking, it's just rough out here, man. Especially working the load board, you know. I could not imagine looking at the load board, even though I already had rates, right? I already had freaking rate cons. I was still looking at the load board and saying, man, I would hate to be those guys. You know what I mean? Luckily, I was able to find this broker, and I just call him up and be like, hey, yeah, man, I got this, I got this, I got that. And then which one do you want? You know what I mean? So these are the kind of, it's still a brokered load, but this broker is really tight with this shipper. So you're not gonna go in there, you know what I mean, go around his back, because he has developed his relationship with that shipper. So, okay. So, but his rates are good enough, man. Like, you know, this one is paying for 40 a mile, and then the other one was paying for 70 a mile, 480 a mile, and then the good one was paying like 560 a mile, 530 a mile. Yeah, 530 a mile. So at least it kept us going, you know. And these things are not really that heavy. So, and they're, like I said, they're not difficult at all. You know what I mean? Like if you really look at it, the load itself is not difficult, you know. Like I said, it's just, that's it. It's, you got 1, 2, 5 inches on each side. That's it, you know. Sometimes they load them more to the right side, you know. They flush them on this side, but they load more on the right side. That's okay, because like it's only gonna be, you're only gonna be sticking out a foot. Actually, as a matter of fact, in Denver, I read that permit in Denver, and that permit was actually saying that if you are able to flush the driver's side and let it hang on the right side for safety reasons, okay? I don't think the DOT will pull you over and say, hey, you know what, you need to move that all the way to the right side. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'll do that. But I mean, just look at it, you know, it's, like I said, it's real simple, really. Look at the load, you know, nothing too hard about it. We got, I know if you're a flatbedder, you're gonna be like, oh man, where's your belly strap? Really, you don't need a belly strap. Look, this is one unit, that's another unit, and then the third unit is up there. You don't need a belly strap. They're stable enough, you know. Same thing for that. You got 1 unit, 2 unit, and the third unit up there, okay? Same thing on this one. You got 1 unit. What they do is they nail them together, all of the units, you know. They look like it's a whole bunch of units, but they nail them together to make them, you know, one whole unit or whatever, you know. So anyway, they're 3 units or less. That's what they are, or 3 stacks or less. So I mean, really nothing hard, man. These loads, they stay on the trailer, you know, pretty stable. They ride good, and they're not heavy. So, damn, we got this thing going for 40 minutes. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Alabama got over on with me with a permit load. Could have cost me over 2K. Ooh, man. I hope it didn't cost you 2K. It is rough. I'm proud of that. You keep grinding and doing what man has to do to be successful. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's what we got to do. You know what I mean? We just, you know, it's okay to complain sometimes, but you know what? You still got to move forward. You know. For me though, the way I look at it is, it might not be difficult, but you also added yourself in a position. You bought yourself a target on your back. You're hitting. Okay. I can definitely agree with that. Yes. Yeah, you're definitely a sitting target, you know. That's why I think, hey, what's up, David? Oh, yeah, anyway, man, if y'all looking for a job, man, if we got a driver out here looking for a job, man, my old boss, David, man, he looking for a driver now. I don't know, he hasn't spoke to me about it, but I mean, he lost a driver, you know, so anyway, he looking for a driver, okay? You know, I'd say, for me, if you're gonna be OTR, I think a 53 step deck is better. That's just my opinion, you know? I think if you can secure yourself some good lanes for, like, you know, long beams, you know what I mean, 60 foot, 65 foot long beams, I think a 53 flat is better, because those pay really well. Conventionally, those pay really well, you know. But anyway, so let me get back on the point, right, that, you know, you are a target, right? You are a sitting target. But if you actually follow your permits, right, and, you know, do what you're supposed to do on the permit, as soon as they see you, man, you're like, they look at you. Is presentation is everything, right? When I was a QA for the military, or a liaison between the civilians and the military, that was the first thing I looked for. You know, if the press, if the equipment is presented to me properly, I'm not gonna look any further into that. I know that person is squared away. You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, I'm talking military terms now. Squared away means like they're good to go. You know what I mean? They know what they're doing. They following directions. You know what I'm saying? And just basically it. You know. So I'm not saying that I'm not never gonna inspect them. All I'm saying is that first impression is everything. You know, the way you present yourself. You know, just like the way you fold your straps. You know, make them look a little bit more presentable. You know, the way you put your, you know, everything matters, you know, looks matters, you know. So a lot of these DOT inspectors, that's how they're gonna look at things, you know. If they see you and you look, you know, somewhat decent, more than likely they're just gonna wave you on by, you know what I mean? So, let's see. Okay, let's go look at, man, we got a lot of people in here now. There's no freight going down south, bro. Oh man, I know, man. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. What do you call it? Pop-Tart, right? Pop-Tart says something about, you know, about FEMA load. So I did look into that a little bit, okay? And I went into the FEMA website. Let me tell you, it says registration is closed, right? I was like, okay. I stopped doing my research there, and then I started looking at loads that are going into that area, that location. Nah, it's not even worth it, man. Okay, all right. Nope, none. I haven't seen any loads that are specifically going there, man. Yeah. Yeah, and you see, this is another thing. Like, you know, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go get me a brokered load going down that way. You know, the brokered loads, right? A lot of them have contracts, right? And those contracts are not for you. It's not to protect you. You know who's to protect? It's them. You know. And one thing I found out real hard, you know, like when I had that Landstar, they held me over for a day and paid me $250 plus, you know, $50 an hour. That's junk, man. That's really junk. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, the truck is not going anywhere. Yeah, the truck is sitting around, but they only pay you 8 hours for the day. They're not gonna pay you the 24 hours that that the load is holding over your trailer. You know what I mean? So, and that's in the contract. It's specified in the contract. So. Oh yeah, yeah, man. I pull Landstar sometimes. They have good freight, man. They really do. The only problem is like some of their agents. Let me tell you, some of them agents, man. I don't even want to get started on that. So, anyway, I think we're gonna end the stream here, guys. So that's where we are. Just to recap, what we did this week. We ran about 2,300 miles, and all miles we paid $285 a mile. Okay, so. That's it. And really good week, man. Really good week. I'm sure you know that I'm leased to. It's a flatbed owner operator company only. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, I almost played poker this week, man. I was in Council Bluff, bro. Timothy, man. What's up, Tim? Yeah, man. Tim is one Marine buddy of mine, man. So anyway, yeah, I was over there in Council Bluff, but I never played, man. I was too busy looking at doggone regulations on the you know, on these oversized things. I think these things are gonna go really well, you know, if I can knock them out a little bit faster. And for enable for me to do that is that I need to know the laws in and out of his area. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been looking into. You know, man, maybe how long you been driving? Is it Cabin? Is it? Yeah. How long you been on the road, man? I think, if I'm not mistaken, Truckland requires 2 years. And from talking to David, man, they got semi decent freaking freight, man. Maybe look into Truckland out of Las Vegas. There's a guy named Doug over there. Doug and DJ and David, you know, they're the trio, and they started it all. And really good company over there. Really good bunch of owner operators, I should say. You know, I'm in Minneapolis, going to PA, then home for Thanksgiving. Hit me up. Okay, all right, bro. I sure will. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end it over here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep driving, try to get to the border, and basically that's the update. Okay, so appreciate y'all for coming in and tuning in, and I'm moving to cotton in Arkansas, local $35 an hour. You know what? I will take a $35 an hour right now, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's just that, you know, I wish I could just, you know, quit it again. But you know, one thing I see myself doing a lot, man, is that over the years, you know, I'm 43 years old, almost 44 years old. Over the years, uh, I have been starting a lot of things, and you know, get successful at it, and then I hit a little bump, and then I want to give up, man. So you know, this time around, I don't think we're gonna do that. You know, we're just gonna keep on grinding it out, man, until we can't do it no more, man. It's just gonna have to be impossible for me to keep uh, profitable for me to stop trucking from now on. You know what I mean? From this point forward, you know. Um, I think I'm just gonna have to stick this out. You know, the startup cost was still a lot, man. Even though we revoked the authority, but the startup cost again was a lot. You know, so it hurt me the first time. It hurt me the second time. I don't think I can start it over again, man. You know, it's a lot of headache to run through. You know, not just the cost itself, the headache of trying to get. Specifically when you go into the market at this time around, you know, it's just a lot harder to maneuver. Basically, that's basically what I'm saying. So anyway, we're gonna end the stream here. I appreciate y'all for coming in and tuning in and commenting, and hopefully I try to answer most of your questions as much as I can, man. So we will see you guys on the next update. Okay, all right, y'all be careful out there. I'm out. How do you end this thing now?